Bewilderment, an essential subject from Vinipedia disobeying the Supreme Lord. One is put into material conditions and he then tries to improve his situation in a concocted way, not desiring to follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nevertheless, the Supreme Lord is so kind that he comes himself to instruct the bewildered living entity how to act obediently and then gradually return home, back to Godhead, where he can attain an eternal, peaceful life of bliss and knowledge. Srila Prabhupada's books, lectures, conversations and letters offer a comprehensive presentation of this essential subject as seen in the Vinicote's bewilderment category. An introduction from his books is given below in the following 10 quotes. Quotes from Srila Prabhupada's books. When the living entity is encircled by wife, children and home, he acts on the mental plane. Sometimes he is very happy, sometimes he is very much satisfied, sometimes he is not satisfied, and sometimes he is bewildered. Bewilderment is called moha, illusion. Illusioned by society, friendship and love. The living entity thinks that his so-called society, friendship and love, nationality, community, etc. will give him protection. Armad Bh Gavatam 4.25. 55. Nowadays it has become fashionable to create some artificial god who performs no uncommon activities. A little magic will bewilder a foolish person into selecting an artificial god because he does not understand how powerful God is. Lord Armakandra, however, constructed a bridge over the water with stone by making the stone float. This is proof of God's uncommonly wonderful power. Armad Bh Gavatam 9.10. 15. A person who is equipoised in all circumstances is never bewildered. Praldama Arya is a perfect example of a Dhra. When the fierce form of Nrsimhadeva appeared in order to kill Hiranyakashipu, Pralda was unagitated. He remained calm and quiet, whereas others, including even Lord Brahm, were frightened by the features of the Lord. Armad Bh Gavatam 5.17. 20. To have unrestricted sex life, the karmas work very hard. They have concluded that the best course is to have sex with any woman and simply pay the price for her, as though she were a mercantile commodity. Thus they engage their energy in working very hard for such material acquisitions. Such materialistic people have lost their good intelligence. They must search out their intelligence within the heart. A person who does not have a chaste wife accepted by religious principles always has a bewildered intelligence. Armad Bh Gavatam 4.26. 17. A pretender is bewildered by the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one should either reject him from any position or taking compassion upon him, teach him, if possible, to resume his original position. Armad Bh Gavatam 7.15. 38-39. Being in a bewildered condition, therefore, the embodied soul identifies himself with the circumstantial material body and becomes subjected to the temporary misery and happiness of life. The Lord is the constant companion of the living entity as Paramtm, or the Supersoul, and therefore he can understand the desires of the individual soul, as one can smell the flavor of a flower by being near it. Desire is a subtle form of conditioning for the living entity. Bhagavad Gita 5.15. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. Bhagavad Gita 16.18. Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge. Bhagavad Gita 3.29. By cultivating spiritual knowledge, we can realize that we have nothing to do with all this material paraphernalia. Then at once we become free from material attachment. This clearance of the misgivings of material existence at once takes place by association with the Lord's devotees, who are able to inject the transcendental sound into the depths of the bewildered heart and thus make one practically liberated from all lamentation and illusion. Armad Bh Gavatam 1.8. 4. By the inconceivable energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord can appear before us in his original spiritual body, but because we have no experience of the spiritual body, we are sometimes bewildered and see the form of the Lord as material. The MYVD philosophers are completely unable to conceive of a spiritual body. They say that the spirit is always impersonal, and whenever they see something personal, they take it for granted that it is material. Armad Bh Gavatam 5.5. 19.